Welcome to the Floor Academy podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Hadeen, former installation contractor and boutique store owner, now your host of the Floor Academy podcast, and bringing you weekly help so that you can get a lifestyle lift and go from owning a job to owning a business, free up your time, be more efficient, hopefully way more profitable, and go do what you really love in life and not things that you don't enjoy, right? We all get into business for some reason or another. Generally, it's because we think we're going to be able to spend more time with our family. And that doesn't always happen. A lot of times it pulls us away more because we didn't realize how much went into actually running a business. Every week, we're discussing those little odds and ends so that one at a time, you can gain back your life and continue loving what you do. This week, I've got Chris Frate with me of Pasquale Floors in Cleveland, Ohio, and he is looking for a way to continue to stay in front of his clients instead of, I think a lot of us will get a lead, we'll go out, we'll do an estimate, we'll follow up once, we'll follow up twice, and this was me, right? I'd follow up for like 2 weeks, I'd follow up maybe 3 times in 2 weeks. If you didn't give me the go, out of my inbox, out of my life, I'm moving on, I'm finding the next person that's ready to go now. Problem is, average buying cycle, 6 to 12 months. And so somebody may reach out very, very early on in that buying cycle, first month or two, to get an estimate and really figure out what something costs and get educated. And then 6, 12 months later, when they're finally ready to buy, they don't remember who they talked to. And so now they call up another person that they find at that moment. They get an estimate. They say that looks good, and they move on. And then you didn't get it. And so a drip campaign is something that you can use with email so that you can stay in front of those prospects for that entire buying cycle, keep them educated, stay top of mind, so that when they are ready to purchase, they automatically come back to you because you've been giving them value the entire time. It's all automated. You don't have to do anything with it, which is absolutely amazing. So we're going to dig into that in just a minute. I will have Chris introduce himself. I've got a quick word from Cronus Flooring Business Manager. If you're struggling to keep your schedule for getting to follow up with clients, or your books are behind, or all of the above, Cronus Flooring Business Manager has the solutions you are looking for. Streamline your life, gain more freedom, and maintain control of your business. From scheduling to follow-up reminders, integration with QuickBooks, and producing quotes quickly, you can say goodbye to your business headaches. Visit chronosoft.com/academy today to schedule your demo for this all-in-one approach for flooring business organization. That's KRONUSSOFT.com/academy, or click on the link in the show notes. Cronus, fast relief for your flooring business headaches. Chris, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me. Who are you? What do you do? And why do you do it?
So my name is Chris Frate. I own Pasquale Floors. It's a hardwood flooring full-service company here in Cleveland, Ohio. We have been around about 23 years. I started the business on my own, not really knowing what I was doing, kind of just wanted to stop bartending. Okay. And so kind of started doing this on the side. I had some rental properties I was fixing up. At the time, I was kind of fixing these properties up, sanding some floors randomly, renting some sanders from the local, handy rents place. And after a while, I started kind of talking to some of the clients that came to the bar, started doing some of theirs floors, and really enjoyed it. So about a year after that, it got to the point where I was busy enough to quit bartending. So started doing floors full time, did it on my own for about 7 years. And then at that point, hired my first employee, lasted, maybe 6 months to a year or so. And then slowly started kind of getting teams together to the point where, we have, it's myself, and then we have 5 other people right now that are full-time. Nice. A few other subs, a couple other 2 or 3 installers that we keep fairly busy. And so yeah, about 23 years later, business is good. It's a lot of work. We're doing. I got out of the field maybe 6-ish years ago.
Congratulations.
And yeah, thank you. That was a big move. I thought we were going to start losing money. We actually started doing better once I got out of the field. Because then at that point I was able to start kind of managing more
Hmm.
of the client experience, and just kind of get a little bit more organized to the point where we're starting a job and it's not chaos. We started using a couple of different softwares that help manage everything and keep everyone organized. Um, so yeah, that's it. So right now we're just focusing on now that I'm not in the field, I'm just trying to focus on higher end stuff. At some point down the line, I'd either want to give the business to one of the employees. I'm 50 now, maybe sell it or so. That's
Hmm.
maybe a 10, 15-year plan. So in the meantime, I'm just trying to get everything, like it says, running like a McDonald's,
Good.
making sure that, when that the experience is the same for anyone that reaches out to us, and it's smooth.
Hmm.
It's something you work on every day. You're never happy with. I don't think anyone's 100% happy with the business they have, but you're always trying to get better. Like they say, eat an elephant. One bite at a time, and that's what I'm trying to
Yes.
do. Is just trying to get it strong, get it consistent. From start to finish, and it's a struggle. It's difficult, but you know, every month we get a little bit better. Every year we get a little bit better, and the goal is, 10 years from now it'll be looking real solid, and maybe something that someone wants to pick up. And
Yeah. I mean, look, if you
so
talk
that's
about 1% a day, right? And what's that add up to
yeah,
over a couple of years? That's a lot of gains. So if you're adding 10 or 20% a year, and I think the biggest move that you said, and maybe you're not acknowledging fully, is that you did step out of the field, and I think that's what's made the difference. I know, just from following along in the different Facebook groups where I see you, right? Your ability to have removed yourself from the field and step back, get that 10,000 foot view, focus on the business, and how do we nurture leads? How do we generate more leads? How do I manage the crews and the subs to go accomplish everything I need to do, right? You're looking at a much bigger picture now. And that's where the success is coming from, because you're not worried about, I have to get this 500 square feet sanded today so I can stain it tomorrow
yeah,
so I can finish. When that's your 8 to 10 hours, coming home and putting in another two it's
yeah,
so hard, right? And so now you get 8 hours a day basically
yeah,
to sit back and say, all right, how do we make this a better experience and bring in more people so that I can hire more people so we can continue to service at a high level? That's the beauty of it. I
yeah.
got to ask. So you removed yourself from the field. Are you happy in the office, or do you want to go back?
It's funny. I mean, it was the right move. It was for
Mm-hmm.
sure. It was the right move. And in order to grow and control the business better, I mean, you have to do it right. I can't be in there, sanding, staining, answering the phone. So it's it's as challenging as being in the field, if not more. Mentally, responsibilities, communication, emails. I mean, everything. It's sometimes I joked with my wife. I'm like, God, it was so easy when I was just in the field all day long sanding. I had one thing to do that
Mm-hmm.
day, and it was great. And then when I get home, then you answer all the emails and calls, and you're calling people like 7 o'clock at night just because you want to return the call,
Yeah.
and you're excited that people want to call you and potentially hire you. So it's challenging. Yes, it's a better move for sure.
But do
But
you, a lot of the guys, right? We're like, a lot of flooring guys are artisans, right? At heart, that the craftsmanship is what it comes from. So like, do you want to get back in the field because you miss it, or do you enjoy the office side of things?
no, I don't miss being in the field. I
Okay.
loved being in the field for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I felt like I was always learning. But I got to a point where um, I needed to kind of just step back a little bit. I was just, kind of always coming home smelling like stain and, taking a shower like immediately when you get home. But it's no, it's a good thing. Being out of the field
Hmm.
is better for the business. Once in a while, if someone needs like a custom threshold or some random thing, or there's a touch up that no one can do, like I'll step in once in a while, but
Yeah.
it's not often.
You find the fun
But
things that interest you. That's good.
yeah,
I like it.
yeah. My goal now is to teach. Anytime I find myself, we work with a business coach and for about a year now, and we're always trying to figure out how to be more efficient, better, and one of the things on our list right now is basically just kind of figuring out the things that suck up my time in the field, and then
Hmm.
training the guys for that more. Because
Yeah.
the more time in the
Nice.
field, the less time I'm managing what I'm supposed to be doing, the less communication I have with the clients. Um, so, the goal is to, be, 100% out of the field, even
Hmm.
though it doesn't take a lot of my time up, but it's one of those things that takes up a little bit of my time.
Yeah.
So training the guys for that is super important,
Yeah. No, I think that's great, right? Find a way to teach them to do the high level stuff that you're having to do, and then you don't have to do it. And I don't look, if you're listening, don't get confused, folks. Like, I think everybody at some point, as they grow their business to move beyond owner operator and you start gaining the employees and things like that, you do have to step out of the field. But remember that you don't have to stay out of the field. Chris could have made the decision to build these systems and processes and then hire a manager to do all of these things so that he could go back into the field. He could have done it opposite, right?
Right.
Like, and I think a
Right.
lot just because it's your business doesn't mean you have to be the one at the desk. We were talking about that last week on last week's episode with Doug Howard, the business consultant. Like, don't think that just because it's yours, you have to be the guy behind the desk. You can build it another way and get back in the field and do what you truly love. Because there are some guys that are amazing artisans, but that makes them have a very, very special brand, and you could do a lot with it by going back in the field and letting somebody else kind of manage the day to day. But that's a different conversation. So I'm happy for you. I think this is absolutely awesome. But this is where this conversation has come from, is as you continue to grow, you continue to look for ways to do things. So you've been working with this business coach, you're looking for ways to improve your business. You hit upon drip campaigns, which are an automated series of emails that go out once a month, once a week, once every 2 weeks, however you want to set it up. But essentially, they are generally some kind of informative, educational slash offer. Like, it can be any number of things, but it's this automated series of emails to stay in front of your client and get them generally educated and keep them moving through your sales funnel so that eventually you can close them. You just launched, so you have some very, very early data, but
Yeah.
what is your current drip campaign? What is it doing? And I think you said it was like out for, you just did it this week, so it's a couple days or a week old or so very fresh
Yeah.
data, but how's it going?
Yeah. So it's probably, we did our first one about 2 weeks ago. And, it's funny, like even going back earlier, my business coach had mentioned something about Upwork, which is, I don't know if people are familiar with that, but it's basically a site you go on and you could sub out all kinds of different work, technical
Mm-hmm.
people, all kinds of different things. So I went on there, searched out a couple of people, and I found someone great who's really savvy with all this stuff that I'm not savvy with. And I think that's the most important thing too when you're running a business is all the stuff you don't like to do, don't do it. Find someone else to do it because you need to find your niche. And if you're doing bookkeeping and paperwork and things you don't want to do all day long, you're going to hate your life and you're going to hate your job. So
Definitely.
my whole thing is to try to delegate the stuff that I don't like to do, which is sending invoices, setting up drip marketing campaigns, all the stuff that I'm not real familiar with, and getting other people to do that. So that's my goal now. But yeah, he had set up, and this is his thing. He does this a lot for a lot of other companies. So, there was, maybe a couple months of just getting things together, figuring out how we're going to do it, who we're going to market to. Right now, we're just marketing to, we had maybe 2,500 people, which are all my past clients and past people that had reached out to us, that maybe we didn't do work for. And then Justin, the guy that we're working with, he had also set up something where when people go to our website, because we initially kind of get our process going where client calls, our goal is to get them to the website to upload some pictures and descriptions of what they're trying to do. At that point, then we can see what's going on, and we could shoot them some numbers really quick. This is great.
I love your website, by the way.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. We're constantly working on it. So it's nice because it's a time saver, not only for the client, but for me as well. So someone could, within 5 minutes, go to the website, take a picture of their living room, tell me what they want to do with it, figure out if we have to remove carpeting. They just give us, length times width, easy square footage, and then we get them numbers right away. Because, what we found out is, sometimes people will call and they'll be like, I don't know if this is $200 or $12,000, know? So we get them a basic number usually, and that's, if it's in their budget, then fine. Then we continue the conversation. Yeah. And we usually stop out and do some kind of an on-site consultation. So we want to pre-qualify them, because in the past we were just wasting so much time with so many people that weren't buying from us. And
that's what I loved about your website when I was just on it before the episode, like peeking around and getting some information and whatnot. You had pricing for refinishing right on there. It was like, hey, if you're doing a kitchen and it's this size, it's roughly, you had ballpark numbers. It was laid out really clean on how big the project would be. Is it one room? Is it multiple rooms? Is it a whole house? Is it this size of house? And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so easy. I can just, it's like a menu, and I can pick and say, I have to spend this much money. And if that's not in my budget, this company's not for me, moving on. I don't even have to call you. Right. And now you're not inundated with call after call of people that don't fit. If that's not the budget, they're moving on. And I hope that saves you so much time. But I bet you did your close rate go up once you started listing pricing on the website?
So the close rate, I haven't tracked that specifically, and I should. But luckily, we're really busy, and we're not slow on work. We're not, so I think once that happens, tracking, we've got a whole new software. We're going to be tracking all that stuff now.
All right. But, well, then we'll ask the question a different way. Do you not, I'm assuming you get the phone calls you get are very serious. They're not generally tire kickers poking around trying to figure stuff out. Generally, if someone's calling you, they're pretty ready and intent to go with you.
Yeah, exactly. So because most of the time they've already been to the website. And like I said, we're super transparent with our numbers. Like, you want to go and see what we charge per square foot, it's right there. You want to know what we charge for a maintenance coat, it's right there. But like you said, we have pictures of small kitchen, medium kitchen, large kitchen, small house, medium house, large house, first floor versus second floor. So all the numbers are there. So that's our main goal, is to get people to basically weed them out and get rid of the people that aren't going to spend time with or money with us. So so that's the goal of the website, and it works. And that's why we do it, to save our time.
Yeah.
But it's always like pricing. I feel like so many people think pricing is like this secret thing that you can't divulge, and you don't want to say it. Can you imagine if you went to Amazon and there just wasn't any pricing? Like, no one would buy anything. You need to know what's going on. It's like, and I used to do that too. I was so guarded with my numbers. Now it's like, I can't wait to get my numbers out in front of you, because I want to see where you're at. I throw the number out. I want to see where you're at.
I never understood that. Like, I can see pricing on everything else in my life. All of a sudden you start talking to a contractor. Oh, I got to come out. No, you don't. Why do
you have to come out?
I knew that a luxury vinyl plank project was going to be $11 to $17 a square foot with including a 450 to 550 product allowance. And it was on the lower end if it was all carpet coming out, and it was on the higher end if it was all tile coming out. You know, an average set of stairs was $3,500 to $5,000. Like all the same stuff you had on your website. Like if you know, you know, and you don't have to beat around the bush and be secretive. And you know, I could post stuff, and then all these other people are responding, "Oh, this guy's too high." Well, that's your opinion, man. I think my numbers are just right. Like I don't care what you think about my numbers.
Yeah, and you don't want business from everyone that calls you, right? I mean,
Correct.
It's like, because you're not going to get it, you know. For us, you know, we're shooting for the higher end client, and you know, the higher end client, it doesn't necessarily care so much about the price. They care about the service, the communication.
Yep.
Are we going to show up when we say we're going to show up? Are we going to be done? Are we going to leave their house a complete train wreck? No, I mean, we're going to use air scrubbers. We got the vacuum systems. It's like, so, you know, thinking that, you know, it's some people think it's too expensive. Well, that's fine. Then they're not our client, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And we've saved, you know, an average of 2 to 3 hours not going out to their house and writing up numbers and emailing, and then sitting there and sending it and emailing back and forth. It's like we don't want to do that. You know, we don't have to do that. You know.
Well, so to hit back, you mentioned that they're going to value communication, and that I think that ties right back into talking about the drip campaigns. Is this is just another form of communication with folks, right? This is how we're going to stay in front of them, educate them, keep them in our sales funnel, and get them going. So you've dropped this one. You've got 2,500 people on the mailing list. You sent it out about 2 weeks ago. What are the early numbers looking like for, like, it was just a basic, like, hey, we're here, we have, you know, it wasn't like anything salesy, right? It was just kind of like basic information of.
No, it was basically, I think the first tip was just, you know, had a nice header with our company logo and all that stuff. And then the first tip was basically how to care for your wood floors after they're refinished. And then we had another just like current picture of a floor that we did, and we talked a little bit about that. And that was it. There was nothing pushy. There was nothing salesy about it. It was just kind of what we were talking about before, is like just kind of stay in front of them. You know, we were talking like, you know, we've done floors for someone like 10, 15 years ago, and then we kind of came out to their house before. I mean, again, because they were thinking about doing another project, and they actually forgot about us. You know, you think that everyone just remembers you, and they're always going to remember, and it's not the case, you know. So even we've done it with contractors. So it basically, the campaign was pretty good. I think we shot out to 2,500 people. We had a 52% open rate, which to me didn't sound great, but the guy that's
good, man,
did it said it was pretty good. And then we had like a 1 or 2% unsubscribe, you know, because it was the first one, so I get it. And then I think it was like an 8 or 10% where people actually were clicking on other things, like click to the website, you know, going to our Facebook link that we had on there. So yeah, he was real happy with the numbers. To me, it's all new. So, but you know, we didn't reach those people anytime like, you know, in the past, and so now we're kind of getting in front of them, and you know, because now it's about building the brand. You know, if we are going to try to sell in 15 years or whatever, it's just about building the brand. You know, making everyone aware of, oh yeah, we've heard of that company 1,000 times. You know, they're around.
Well, so let's step back and kind of analyze that so other folks can kind of get it too, right? So you emailed 2,500 people. You're saying like 50%-ish opened it up. That's 1,250 people that you reached in 2 weeks.
Yeah, crazy.
When is the last time you reached 1,250 people in 2 weeks? Have you ever talked to that many people in 2 weeks?
No, I mean, the only thing, you know, maybe we get an Instagram post that does well, but those people are all over the world. You know, they're not all in Cleveland. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And, so these are all local people you've dealt with before. So you reached 1,250 people. That is super impressive. And then you're saying that roughly 8 to 10% clicked on it to be able to get to the website or something. So when was the last time you knew you had 125 people looking at the website?
Right.
That's
I mean,
that's a
yeah,
lot of
it's
people.
pretty
Like,
cool.
so
Yeah.
if you don't like, this is what's impressive, folks. You know, I go through the same thing with the podcast, and like, I'll be honest that the listens during COVID and afterwards, like I peaked at like 5,000 listens a month, and I was super stoked, and they're down right now. I think we're sitting somewhere around like 1,500 a month. And, you know, new episodes used to do like 200 listens, 225 listens in 7 days. Now it's like 100 to 125 in 7 days. And I'm like, oh man, this sucks. It's horrible. What I got to remember is that when I step back, like, how many people get an opportunity to fill a small auditorium every week and reach that many?
Yeah.
Like, I'm still reaching a lot of people. You know, I know I'm not going to be Joe Rogan. Like, that's not this podcast. And it's never
Right.
going to be, and that's fine. But to be able to reach consistently like 100, 125 people every week, it is making a difference.
Yeah.
There are people that care. And so, like, I think we all want big numbers, and we want to see, but don't get tied in, like, get tied into the metrics that actually matter. And it's not like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, like web companies will try and sell you on impressions. And so you might be able to get 30,000, 50,000 impressions. And all that means is that somebody was scrolling their feed and they scrolled right past you.
Right.
How many people actually interacted, right? So like even when I was running the flooring company still, I was able to generate some ads that got me 20, 30,000 impressions on like a Friday or a Saturday and Sunday. Like over the weekend only, I could get like 30,000 impressions, but I would get like 10 interactions.
Yeah. Right.
So
Right.
that, like, great. It showed up on somebody's feed 30,000 times, but only 10 likes happened.
Yeah.
And then only two
Yeah.
people called me. So 30,000, like,
Right.
ooh, 30,000. It sounds so big. Who cares, man? Two people
know,
called
it's
me.
like-
That's what matters.
Yeah.
So that means out of every 15,000 impressions, I get one phone call. But
Yeah.
if I can convert those phone calls, then I was golden. And I was
Yeah.
always able to stay busy. So numbers matter, but let's look at things and like break them down, right? So I still think your numbers are super impressive. Again, you started at 2,500, you lost 20. If you lost 1 or 2%, you've lost 25 to 50 of them. Big deal, right? We've
Yeah.
still got 2,450 that are going to receive the email. Half of them are opening it. And then 10% of that half are clicking to like go learn more stuff. That's great. They're finding you, they're learning about you, they're doing everything that they need to do to be back in the sales funnel, keep you top of mind, and
Yeah.
pull the trigger on
And
something.
we had like, we had 5 or 6 people reach out. Well, probably like 10 to 20 people reach out and say, "Oh, thank you so much. This is a great idea. I love this."
Awesome.
Yeah, we had one lady say, "Do not email me every month," and I was like, "That's fine. We won't do that." But and then out of those people, we had about like 6 people that were like, "Hey, let's, people we talked to last year, hey, we're ready to go on our floor project, or let's talk about this, or I'm thinking about that." So I was like, wow, it's like, it was special. I was like, I guess I expected it, but I didn't expect it. I was just like, oh, we're going to get these people information. And then all of a sudden a handful of people reached out. They're like, hey, we're ready to go on a project, or let's talk about our project. And I was like, that's fantastic.
Yeah, draw them back in, right? You talked to them before, maybe they already have the numbers, they forget about you, they get busy with life, it wasn't the right time, they had to save money, and now all of a sudden they're like, we're gonna go with Pasquale Floors, like that's the one we wanted, it wasn't that other company.
Yeah, right. I know, and you can't think for people, you don't know what's going on in their life, and just like you said, the sales cycles is long, so just keep in top of mind. That's everything.
That's it. We got to do our mid-show break. We got a couple ad reads. When we get back, Chris and I are going to start discussing building out a new drip campaign for him, and we'll let him pick what we kind of work through. We're either going to talk about nurturing new clients, or we're going to talk about nurturing old clients, and then you can take that and you'll be able to build out your own drip campaign if you want to work with somebody. And he's right. Upwork or Fiverr, like some website like that, you can find people that will build this stuff out for you very cheaply, right? You don't necessarily have to hire someone in America. You can hire someone in the Philippines and they'll do it for like a fifth the cost. And they're perfectly happy to. Like, there's tons of options. You can hire someone in America. Like, I'm not going to tell you not to, but you can definitely find labor pretty cheap on there, virtual assistants, just about anything you want done. You want your website designed? Hey, you can find somebody to do it. It may not be the best if you find the, bottom of the barrel person, but you got options.
You're right.
So we got, what do we got here? Quick words from John's Manville. The rumors are true. GoBoard Pro is available and approved for steam showers. GoBoard Pro was developed with the pro contractor's ease of project workflow in mind. Panel sized at 48 by 64 inches will limit waste on your project. They'll require less seams, meaning less sealant is needed. And best of all, you can space those beautiful blue GoBoard fasteners out to 12 inches without requiring washers. You don't got to do that extra step and put the screw through the washer. They're saving you time with this GoBoard Pro. It's great, less sealant. So look, that's more money in your pocket, man. This is so good. You visit www.jm.com/GoBoard for more information and to learn about their other products, whether it's the wedges, drains, other sealants that will work in a pinch if you can't get GoBoard sealant. They got you covered, and they'll still keep that 10-year warranty intact. Schluter Systems is all about providing products and systems that ensure durable, functional, and beautiful tile installations, with an emphasis on education through their nationwide workshop programs for professionals. The goal of the company is to offer innovative solutions to the tile industry that solve common challenges faced by installers. Their product line includes over 6,000 items, including tile trims, uncoupling membranes, floor heating systems, waterproof building panels, shower systems, and thin-set mortars. For more information or to register for a workshop, visit schluter.com. That's SCHLUTER.com. Can't recommend going to a workshop enough, folks. I've been to Innovation 1. I've been to Innovation 2. I was fortunate enough to get invited to the Mind Your Business workshop that focuses on, the very, very basics of business, but super helpful. Very awesome what they are doing over there. And you'll get treated right. If you got to travel a little bit of ways, they're going to put you up. They're going to feed you dinner. They wine and dine you, man. It's just, they're going to take care of you. It's awesome what they're doing. I love their focus on education to make sure that you can install products successfully. Check it out. All right, Chris, we're back.
Yep.
What do we want to work on, man? What do we want to try and develop for you so that we have something focused in on one path or the other?
I really like, because right now we're just doing general marketing to anyone that has reached out to us, we've done bids for, and then anyone that fills out our web form, the guy that was working with Upwork, he basically, when someone fills out a web form, boom, it goes right to our CRM, and then it puts them in the email marketing system. So,
okay.
What I think is a really good thing, and I think what a lot of contractors are leaving money on the table, is the maintenance codes. I mean, for us, the maintenance codes are the number one moneymaker as far as gross profit margin per job. In their home run. And we need very little equipment. You need maybe a cleaning machine, a buffer, some sandpaper and some finish and a vacuum. It's great. So, and that's, I feel like that's one area that we're lacking is, you come in, sand floor, let's say you got a couple kids and a dog, after, no matter what finish you're using, after a handful of years, you're going to see some surface scratching on there. And so usually, what we'll do is we'll come in, clean the floor real quick buff, and then a fresh coat of finish. So it does a few different things. One, it'll kind of even the sheen level out, gets rid of the surface scratches, and gets you another layer of protection. And we tell clients too, if you do this enough, or every handful of years, you'll never have to have us come in and with all the sanding equipment and move your furniture again. I feel like once, like I said, we're kind of brand new with this, but I feel like a good campaign in the future would be maybe a year or two after we're done with our work, we market specifically to the maintenance code. Um,
Okay.
and put that in the information and send that to the clients. And because, anytime you get your floors done, I always, so some people, it's a one and done. They're not going to do it for another 20 years. Other people want it looking pristine all the time. And those
Hmm.
clients that want that, I feel like then we get in front of them after a year or two, and it's a fraction of the price. It's usually done in a handful of hours and keeps their floors looking brand new again. I feel like that could be a really good campaign for,
Okay.
anyone who does hard floors.
So what you got to do it? I mean, it's going to be based on wear and tear. So what?
Yeah.
Every 3 to 5 years? Every 2 to 3? What's our actual time frame looking like?
Yeah, so I mean, it depends on each family. We've done floors for an older couple 20 years ago, came back and they look brand new. We've done floors for a family that had just got like two puppies and they have four kids.
Hmm.
And within a year, we were called back.
Okay.
It's just there's not a lot of finishes out there that can put up with that.
Okay. So
So,
it's more
it
we're
depends.
is there a list of qualifications we're looking for that would say I need to get a maintenance coat done?
Um, the you know the qualifications would basically be um, getting a decent amount of surface scratching on your floor. If you get a lot of surface scratching, eventually you're going to wear through all the finish,
Hmm.
and then at that point you're going to start going into the stain, and that's when people start getting like dark spots, spots that are just not consistent with the rest of the floor. So it's just it really all depends. People that don't take their shoes off
Hmm.
and have a lot of kids and dogs, yeah, they're gonna need it much more often, maybe every couple of years, maybe
Okay.
maybe 2 3 years. So it changes.
And then are you rocking a power scrubber, dirt dragon, or anything like that?
Yeah, so we have a Dirt Dragon. We have another one called the Tornado, which is
Okay.
Bona makes the similar machine. So
Yeah.
we have both of those, and those are great machines.
Okay.
And
So I think I
yeah,
would pair this all together because one thing I know that's underutilized is even getting in and offering a cleaning service, right? If you've got
right.
2,500 people, you've probably done about 2,500 floors. I would assume that you're not generally getting
Yeah,
an email for the husband and the wife and then emailing both of them. You're getting one email per client. So, there's got to be
yeah,
about 2,500 people that have reached out, done your services. Even at 1,250, any floor that's over a year old, you could go and
yeah,
clean, right? And so let's start
for
there
sure.
and let's get
Yeah,
I think one thing that I've pitched to a couple of guys, Matt Garcia included, how much would you have to add up front to add a quote unquote free cleaning a year down the road?
yeah,
Right. And now let's
right.
increase our value by upping our price, the 100, 200, $500, whatever it is, based on the size of the
Yeah,
project. And then the minute you finish that project, you say, all right, let's get your free cleaning scheduled. We're going to come back 1 year from now.
yeah,
We're going to put it on the calendar. We're going to book it right now. And then you go back out in a year and you just clean their floor, no questions asked. And then you say, when you're done
yeah,
with that, right, you train your guys. All right, next year it's $500. When would you want us back?
yeah.
And then you just can
That's a
build that
great
recurring
idea.
revenue. So
Yeah,
I think I would start this campaign with trying to build out an email about maintenance in general, like what to look for, right? That's what you're talking about. Like, are we looking for surface scratches? Are we looking for dirt buildup? How do we care for it? How do we prevent it, right? Can we put the plastic tips on our dog's nails? Should we be taking our shoes
yeah,
off? How often should they be cleaning the floors, right? Let's get all that education in there. There's an email for a month.
yeah,
Then the next month, let's get into the floor scrubbers, right? What is that going to do,
yeah,
right? Let's get a video filmed of a project where we have a really good before and after. that we can put in the email that they can watch, and they can see like how dirty it was versus how clean it gets, how dirty the water was.
Yeah.
Talk about what that's going to do for them, right? Because when that grime builds up, I'm assuming as you walk around on it, that's going to wear the finish more because there's more dirt built up on the floor. That would be my assumption. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, especially with like little pebbles and rocks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which
Okay.
acts like sandpaper. Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
we can get them educated on that part of it. So there's like email number 2 in the series, right? So first we teach them what to
Yeah.
look for, then we teach them how we can clean it, and then we say, no matter what, after so many years, you're going to get here. And it could be 1 year if you're really, really rough on your floors. It could be 20 years if you're just this cute little old couple that walk around in socks all day long. But
Yeah.
at some point, you're going to want a maintenance coat done, and we can do that. But it's going to be a lot easier for us if you've gone and used these other parts of our process, right? If we're in there annually cleaning it, we know that there's not going to be a buildup of residues on it, and we're not going to have to fight it.
Yeah.
So even your maintenance coat will come in cheaper because we've better maintained your floor.
Yeah. And the cleaning it's something that, again, I think is, I think a lot of contractors don't go after that part of the business, which, we've done a few of them. We've done a few restaurants, and then sometimes we'll come in like twice a year and just deep clean it, because the restaurants get nasty.
Yeah.
Or even like after the holidays, you have a ton of people in the house, probably people aren't taking their shoes off, and you're gonna get a bunch of salt, if you live where we do. So after the holidays, that's a great idea. It's usually, I don't know, $1 a square foot or something. I think people are charging somewhere around that. But it's cost no time. I feel like people at that point aren't really going to start moving their furniture around. So you're not really doing like the whole house. You're just kind of getting around all the just the wood floors that are exposed.
Yeah.
And maybe send something out earlier on, before the holidays, like, hey,
For sure.
you don't have to worry about this after the fact. We can come in. And then, the thing is, once you're in there, you're just doing your standard cleaning. Sometimes, I think a good question is like, hey, we're doing the cleaning right now. Is there any other areas of your floor that you might want work on or you have questions about while we're here?
Mm-hmm.
And then, that could turn into a bedroom refinishing or a maintenance coat somewhere else or a new floor in the kids' bedroom. But I think just being there,
That's it,
is important. Now, like, oh yeah, especially I've had electricians come in our house and we do a little bit of work, and right after they left, I was like, oh my God, I wanted 3 other things that I forgot to tell them about. It's almost like prompting and asking that question. Is there any other parts of the house of the wood floors that you want us to look at right now or of a concern to you?
correct.
And,
You're
and,
in the
I
house. You
think
have to act on it.
Yeah. I think life gets in the way. You called someone for this one thing. You forget, that you wanted to do other things, and that one little question could lead to anything, really.
Well, I'm looking at it too. Like what I was looking at. So I've got a power scrubber that I was able to pick up super cheap. It was sitting in one of the companies out here, one of the supply houses. They had it sitting in the warehouse forever, and I was able to pick it up at like half price. It was amazing. They just wanted to dump it. It was just covered in like a ½ inch of dust.
I'm sure.
And I used it on I bought it because I was going to start offering it on my luxury vinyl plank jobs because they get dirty and stuff too. But it's the same machine, same scrubbing solution. You just take it in, you do it. It was super quick, super easy. I had a great client that I was able to test it on. That she does. She boards like rescue dogs, and so oh my God, her house is just, it can get gross, let me tell you. It's not but the stuff was just coming up black. It was pretty gross, and her floor looked great when I was done. And my thought was, okay, so if on average I can do 1 project a week, that's 50 floors a year. Well, for you've been in business 20 years, so that's like 1,000 floors. Well, okay, so if we're working 250 days a year, give or take, right? I only need 1/4 of those to have one floor a day. If I can get 50% of them, I can have 2 floors a day. Cleaning a floor isn't rocket science. I could probably hire a kid that's going to get stoned all day. You can fit the thing in the back of a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
So if you could pay somebody like $25 an hour to drive around in a small car and take this thing in and out with some cleaning solution, and they just clean 2 floors a day, and you could keep them busy 5 days a week, that is a hell of a profit center for your company. So like, how do you leverage that into actually happening? You've got the clientele list, right? Now we just have to offer the service and start getting them to use it, and you continue to grow and have new clients. So it's ever expanding. So I think I would for sure attack that market, and then that's going to lead to the maintenance coat, because you get that guy trained on what to look for. He's going inside of every single house, and he's going to be able to say, you know what? Like it's not a clean this time. We gotta do this, right? Or like, he's going to be able to look at it and say, all right, next year we're not cleaning again. Next year we have to do the maintenance coat. Or in 6 months after the holidays, we're going to come back. We need to do the maintenance coat, right? And he could, you could get that guy trained to be like a semi salesperson. And then you have that drip campaign going in the background, educating them too, right? So I think it's maybe once every 3 months. Those are the emails, right? For like past clients, you like, cause you can have the email addresses enrolled in different campaigns. And so I don't think that's something I would hit them with all of the time, but maybe like once out of 3 months, right? We hit them with the, here's what to look for. And then here's the cleaning machine approach. Here's the maintenance code approach. And then, to round out the fourth quarter, we just need to, what else can we pitch them that's kind of in that vein of maintaining floors? Is it talking about different finishes, right? What if we went with like an oil, like one of the penetrating oils, or one of the Swedish kind of finishes? Like, again, I know enough to be really dangerous here, and I probably sound like an idiot to you hardwood guys. But I know that there's like the stuff that you put on with the trowel essentially, and you can go back and you just kind of, you can move everything out of the way and do it again, and then it's like good as new.
Yeah.
So is that like an option of educating them on, like, hey, we can get rid of the water-based finishes and we could do this for you, but then what? You have to go out every year, every couple of years, depending on how bad that gets beat up, to do a new coat?
Yeah. I think it depends. Generally, if you have a water-based, you usually want to kind of stick with that. Some of the finishes don't mix with other finishes. Like,
I'm not, this would just be to say like, it's an option to do, right? If someone's considering it or wants to change over to something. I don't know what the fourth email necessarily would be in the campaign, but it needs to educate them on something. I just don't know what that last bit is.
Right. Yeah. I don't know, but one thing that you had mentioned too, which I love, is the fact of getting in front of them and doing a cleaning, because sometimes the cleaning doesn't always work, or get them to where they need to be. So maybe you do cleanings for a few years, and then at that point, you kind of get them looking at the floor after the cleaning and be like, okay, here's what we did so far. But if you want to get some of these surface scratches out, then we can do the maintenance coat, where we kind of buff it out and bring it in. But I think just getting in front of them is so key in keeping you top of mind. Is also like, it's gigantic. It's people. Yeah, I think most people don't even realize that we would clean floors. I mean, I don't really market it too much, and I think the other clients are probably like, oh, that's probably like a cleaning service. You guys don't clean floors, right? You just sand and refinish them.
That's the problem.
And talking about leaving money on the table like that, I don't even. It makes me want to, like, we have a lot of blogs on our website. I think I want to do one about that next, because it's like the secret that that we're not sharing with people, and it's a huge money maker. It's one machine, one guy, a couple hours will do a large house, and then we could do something else that day. But
Well, you could, if you don't need everybody that day, right? Like you can still get a sand and refinish started. The guys can be sanding. One guy can be out scrubbing, and he can show up later that day and jump in. Or they're
oh yeah,
staining, and you don't need the apprentice that day, right? Like they're just off he goes to clean the floor. I think there's a lot of options, but yeah, it's one of those things that it really complements the main business really well. The equipment's super cheap. It's easy. It's like an easy profit center when you look at the margins you can put on it.
yeah,
But the biggest thing is you nailed it. I'm not talking about it. I'm not advertising it. It's not on my website. And
yeah,
that's the problem. If we're not talking about it and people don't know it's an option, they're not going to do it. I didn't start getting calls to put weird designs like the geometric designs out of 1x2s on people's walls until I just started doing it. Like I heard a client talking about it. I was like, oh, I can do that for you. She was like, really? I was like, yeah, I can do that. I got all the tools. Like, let me, it'll be this much. I'll do it.
yeah,
She's like, okay, got my pictures. And then I was able to advertise that. And then lo and behold, instead of advertising a floor, I advertised a wall, and I started getting calls for walls. And then and then I was able to have those pictures and build that line out. And it was kind of nice to get a break from being on my knees every once in a while to do those.
Yeah.
But it was, I had to have the service available for people to know that I would offer it. And, same thing. If everything's about sanded refinish or installations, then why would they ask you about cleaning? That's not, you didn't even mention it.
yeah. I know. Yeah, I mean that is something that I'm going to change immediately. Like you said, there's nothing to it. I mean, you could train someone to do it, in an afternoon. And most of the training is just how to use the machine and how to dump finish out or the cleaners out and refill it. I mean, there's really nothing to it.
Yeah, it's super easy. I mean, heck, I figured it out.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not even that bright. I figured it out, man. You can, and again, like it fits. You don't need a full van setup for it. I think that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Is that literally the thing would fit in a Honda Civic. Like you could make it fit. It busts down enough that you can have like if you could find enough work, you could have a very economical vehicle toting this thing around, producing money all day, every day.
Yeah. Even like a small SUV. I mean, it doesn't need much. I mean, those things fold down to, they're not big, but
correct. They're not big. They're not heavy. It's not like trying to get a Hummel out of the back of the car.
Right.
It's heavy, but it's not a giant, 8-10 inch sander that you're trying to get out. So
yeah.
no, I like it, man. I think that, we can only really come up with 3, right? So we've got preventative care, we've got the floor cleaning, and we've got maintenance codes. So maybe it's everybody that's ever had a floor installed gets one of those emails every 4 months.
Yeah.
And so they're hit 3 times a year as like, hey, here's your reminder about some other services. And it's not that you can't spotlight it in the like, hey, this goes out all the time, but maybe those are a little bit more in depth and specifically for people that have worked with you. And it's its own separate campaign of like, hey, remember we do this stuff. Hey, remember we do this stuff. And it's just kind of hitting them up every once in a while. And then you can do shorter segments on the like once a month emails that are going out. And then you said you have a blog, so I'd get the blog up. And I've always been huge on video, being that I came from reality television and film school. I'd be getting some videos, man. Especially, I think one of the most underutilized things is that everyone's always big on reviews. Get reviews, get reviews, get reviews. How powerful would email of customer testimonials be? Send that out to like for new clients, right? Hey, if you don't believe us, here's what our past clients had to say. And that's like the last email in the sales series when you're trying to, we lost Chris. He's gone. He got sick of me and he dropped out. If that was the last email in your campaign, though, how powerful could that be? Just having somebody, all of these clients that say, this is why I chose this company. This is what we did. This is what makes them so great. It was so easy to work with them. They were so clean, efficient. They cared about us. That's going to be that's going to be really, really powerful, because we always trust, why can't I think of the word? We're always more trusting of our peers than of the company that's feeding us the information. And that's why they'll go a long way. So if you can find a way to go and develop, instead of just having written testimonials, you get video testimonials, it'll really help you. You can put them on your YouTube, you can put them on your Facebook, put them on your Instagram, you can put them on the website. But I think in this drip campaign system, they could go a really long way, especially in helping you close potential clients. I think his phone died. I'm not seeing him come back. So we're about that time. So let's do this. What do we got here? I hope you enjoyed it, folks. I love doing these episodes where we brainstorm things to help your business. If you're struggling with something, reach out. You can email flooracademypodcast@gmail.com, and let's talk about your business. Let's develop something for you. Let's figure out how we can move you forward, change one thing that's going to make you more efficient, more profitable, and free up your time so you can continue to do things that you enjoy and not hate being a business owner all the time, because I know what that's like, and it's super frustrating. And I love the flooring company and I love Floor Academy, but there's days where, man, it's not great. And you just need to step back and take a different look at it to get where you need to be. And so let's have that conversation. Let's get a different set of eyes on it. Let's brainstorm and figure out how we can help you. So if you've got something you're struggling with, flooracademypodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you check out flooracademypod.com. You can check out the shop, pick up some swag, t-shirt, hoodie, all kinds of options over there. You can help support the show at patreon.com/flooracademy. Even $5 a month would go a long way in helping to support the show. You can also check out our mastermind groups. If you want to get more in depth than having like an hour on an episode, or, you're really struggling, you need that constant accountability, and, you need Chris is back, but we're gonna keep rolling with this. If you need that accountability, you want to hear what other business owners in your segment are doing and struggling with, you want to get feedback from them. We're putting 5 owners into groups and making sure that we stay goal oriented and focused so that you can continue to move your business forward. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment, review. That's going to help get the algorithm giving you more content just like this, as well as help grow the community so that you get more great people to interact with so that you can continue to grow your business. Chris, we lost you for a second. I'm assuming the phone died.
Yeah, a little bit of phone issues. Sorry about that.
Okay. No, all good. I think so. What I was saying is, the video testimonial, super powerful, way underutilized. If you made those the last part of the sales campaign drip email system, like as you're looking at to get prospects through the sales funnel, it would be super powerful, because we love listening to our peers more than we do listening to the company. And so you can just send out an email that says like, hey, if you don't believe us, listen to what our clients have to say, right? And then it's just like a couple minute video of testimonial after testimonial after testimonial of why Pasquale Floors is so great.
Yeah, and video is so huge. I mean, I don't utilize video as much as I should, and I've heard that Google's like really focusing on video, and the metrics you'll show up a lot more if you're doing video on your websites. And I've been trying to do that a little bit more as well. I know we talked about, is it Paul Wilkie? He does a lot of those client testimonials where he just gets them right in front of the camera and it's raw, but it's great.
Hmm.
It's from the client, and I think people appreciate that. Now it's the time where people are buying from reviews and other people's testimonials,
For
even
sure.
like there's all kinds of Facebook groups in even like local Facebook groups in our neighborhood
Hmm.
and then our city, and people like who you use. And I mean, we've gotten so much good feedback and referrals from those groups the past year or so, and those are people that their friend um used and it's like you almost can't do anything wrong at that point. I
Yep.
mean, the sales, it's yours to lose. So yeah, those are big now. That's how people are buying now, right? Reviews and Google reviews,
Google
Amazon.
reviews are the new yellow pages, man. It's
I
the
know
new
it's
it's the new BBB and yellow pages. You can't like Google is king. Sadly,
yeah.
I'll throw one more thing out at you. Someone's gonna bite on this. I don't know who it's gonna be, but I've thrown this out at some of my clients in the mastermind groups, and no one's done it yet. Whoever does it is gonna make their
Okay.
lives a lot easier. So we'll see if you take this. Figure out your top 10 frequently asked questions. What every time that you actually get a phone call, what are you having to answer? And
Yeah.
you write that up as a written thing, and then film a video about it. Put those on your website.
Yeah.
If you like,
That's
how much time are you going to save when you can just like, you want to direct everybody to your website anyways? So now they're asking you
yeah.
those questions online, right? Here's the link. Go here. Go here. Go here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. I mean, so that was our goal. That's why we started doing our blogs. So
Mm-hmm.
anytime someone starts talking to us, they get a link to the website so they could, start getting some numbers thrown their way through us.
Okay.
And then they also get a link strictly to the blogs. It's probably 30, 35 articles of the same stuff. How long does this take? What do we do with our furniture? Is it
Mm-hmm.
dusty? Does it smell? Um,
Okay.
it's the same stuff.
Yeah.
So we're making them read, which is fine, but the video would be stronger for sure. And I think eventually, maybe each blog has a little video link or something,
Yeah.
but people want to watch a video more than they want to read,
I don't.
basically. It's easy.
Yes, I think that's exactly it. Is like, I want to cater. I want the written so that I can get the SEO content, right? Now it's seeing that I have all this written content and it's going to rank me higher for that. But I have the video option so that if you're on the go or you just don't want to read, like, click and listen. And a lot of people are going to take that, but you're going to get ranked for having the video too. And so
Yeah.
it's just a more powerful way to kind of condense everything. But then you can multi-purpose the video content, right? Because it can go on the Facebook page, it can go on YouTube, it can go on Instagram, and you can start having all this content that's available no matter where somebody's reaching out to you. Here's the answer. Go over here, find this over here, right? Here's this link over here. And
Yeah.
that's way more powerful. Like, if you're talking about wanting to free up your time, you know, that's one of the places you can start, because how many times do you answer, how much does this cost? You put pricing on your website. You don't have to answer the cost question anymore. You took that one out of it. I think a lot of people are
Yeah.
probably asking you, right? Oh, does it stink? Oh, all that oil stuff, it reeks for days on end. We don't use that
Right.
anymore. We're only using these. The smell's gone in 12 hours. Like,
Yeah.
it's finding a way to, if you're inundated with the same question every day, multiple times, or every time a client's calling you, then you need
Yeah.
to find somewhere else to put the answer to that question so that you don't have to answer it. And you've done well when you start getting new questions, and then go get rid of
Yeah.
those ones.
Yeah. I know. It's like, it's automation, right? I mean, the
Hmm.
more things I don't have to do, the more free time I have to work on more important things in my business. So I can, and what I do is I send those blogs to the client, and I tell them, I go, we're strongly recommending that you read all these blogs before we do a site visit. And we've had many people, when we get to and do the site visit, we've had many people say, those blogs were great. I loved reading that, and then we're not wasting time on the same stuff. We're wasting, time on more specific stuff like
Yeah.
when can we start, what's going on, just the higher level stuff. So it's great, even like something along with doing the video, maybe having different team members do a video. That
Hmm.
way now people know all the people and in your company and they
Yeah.
recognize them. So when they show up, like, oh yeah, I've
Oh, that's
seen you.
funny.
There's a familiarity there,
Yes. You
and
bring that
it's
up. That's what I noticed on your About Us page. You didn't have any of your team members.
I don't, and I
But
need to do that
there you
still.
go. Yeah, yeah.
I need to do that still.
No, that would be
Yeah,
great.
because that's
I love
important.
that. Even if you have high turnover, like I don't care. Like I want to see people, right? I want to see that like who's coming to my house, right? Hey, this person. Oh, I saw them. I
Yeah,
read about them. Like they have this like, if they got a dog, right? I want to know that they got their dog Timmy and I'll be like, "Oh man, you got Timmy?" Like that's
yeah,
such a cute little dog, right? Like I already know I feel like I already know you. I'm a little bit more comfortable with you coming into my house.
yeah. We had a garage door company come out and do some work, and there's a picture of the guy, and here's like some of the stuff he enjoys. I mean, that's important because
Hmm.
we got kids, and I don't want just anyone coming in. And the fact that I can see who this person is, that's great. Learn a little bit about them. It just makes it more personal.
Yes.
So I think all those things are super important for sure.
Definitely. Chris, we are kind of at the end here. So is there anything you think we need to hit on or discuss, or we got it pretty thoroughly covered?
I think we're good. I think, the most important thing is just like a general comment of I think too many people don't just work on their business. I think too many people think there's too many things to do.
Hmm.
I think, we talked about just doing like the little things, like the 1%. But I think so many times I had so many things written down on my to-do list, like, and you never do them every day.
Hmm.
So I started making a completion list. So out of these 30 things, I'm going to take these three things and I'm going to finish
Mm.
these and I'm going to make these happen over the next 2 weeks. And I'm going to make sure that they're done. So now you're actually making progress. And even though you're taking like these little bites, when, like you said, 6 months goes by, you have all these things as opposed to like working on 30 things at once because
Yeah,
they say you really can't multitask. You really should
you
work on
you
one thing
cannot.
if you really want it done right. So, as a business owner, there's a lot going on. There's too much going on at most times, and it's overwhelming. You can either be overwhelmed or just dig in and start fixing these little things one at a time. I think
For
that's
sure.
that's important information for a lot of these guys to hear and girls to hear.
15 minutes a day, folks. That's all it takes. If you can find 15 minutes to actually sit down and work on something to change your business, at the end of the week, you've got, if you only did 5 days, you got an hour and 15 minutes. If you work Saturday and Sunday for 15 minutes, you got an hour and 45 minutes. It's going to add up really quick. And don't forget, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I think that's what everybody thinks. Oh, I got to go out. I got to build it. It's my business. It's unique. I'm sorry to tell you, you're not unique. You have something special that people like about you, but your business isn't that unique. So go take something from somebody else and repurpose it, right? If you see a really cool flyer that the realtor's using, how do you repurpose that design into your flooring company, right?
Hmm.
Don't reinvent the wheel. Go find the thing you need. Google is great for it. I mean, I've admitted it before. I once spent longer than it probably would have taken me to write the paper on I had to turn in a paper for art class. So it was Pablo Picasso. I think I spent 12 hours trying to find a paper on Pablo Picasso for a class, and I probably could have written it and researched it in like 6. But I eventually found the paper and I turned it in, and I'm lucky I got away with the plagiarism, and maybe that's something to do with my morals, and hopefully I'm a better person now. But you know, that's everything's available on the internet. Like just
Yeah,
search for it
I
and then
know.
save your time, right? Like spend the time manipulating a thing that's already developed and it's going to
Yeah,
go a lot quicker. You don't have to create it from scratch. And I think that when you're staring at a blank sheet of paper, it is very intimidating and hard to get started. So don't start with a
yeah.
blank sheet of paper. That's the best tip I have to go along with what Chris is saying is go find
Yeah.
a filled out sheet of paper and put 15 minutes in.
Yeah, and everyone has 15 minutes. You have to make time for it. There's other things you're doing during the day that aren't worth your time. So whether it's 15 minutes, it's the same reason people say they can't work out. They don't have time for it. Wake up half hour early. I mean, go to bed half hour earlier. You can make time for it. There's 24 hours is a long time, and there's all kinds of things you could squeeze in there. It's just a matter of,
for sure,
are you going to do it or not?
You got to drop the bad habits, folks. You don't need the TV. You don't need the, laying on the couch, death scrolling TikTok. There's something you can give up and replace it with. So you just got to pick your poison, right? If you truly want to change, you're going to invest in getting uncomfortable and growing your business. With that all being said, Chris, I want to thank you for joining us. I very much appreciate it. It was a great discussion. I am excited to hear about where these go in the future, and maybe we'll have to revisit and see how the cleaning and maintenance coats are coming along here in like 6 to 12 months. What do we got? We got a quick word from Tice. Stay connected, continue discovering, learn more, and network. Now available, you will want to access the International Surface Events new resource library. Flip through the digital pages of Tice resource books to source products, take tailored journeys through the Tice event offerings, or watch, rewind, and share recorded content from the event. Available now at intlsurfaceevent.com, or click on the link in the show notes. You'll even see this podcast featured inside the Tice 2024 textbook offering select recordings from Las Vegas with this year's amazing event. Don't forget to check out the dates, get signed up for next year. Don't miss it. You'll want to be there. And always remember to learn will you earn. Catch you all next week, folks.